Welcome to the ANEW Body Insight Podcast, empowering and inspiring your journey to optimal health. Hosted by Dr. Supatra Tovar, clinical psychologist, registered dietitian, fitness expert, and author of Deprogrammed Diet Culture. Rethink your relationship with food, heal your mind, and live a diet-free life. And Chantal Donnelly, physical therapist and author of Settled, How to Find Calm in a Stress-Inducing World. We follow our guests' journey to optimal health, providing you with the keys to unlock your own wellness path. Tune in and evolve with us. Welcome back to the ANEW Body Insight Podcast. We are back for the second half of our interview with plant-based chef Alexander Gershberg. Alexander gave us some background about his health scare that led him to change his eating style and become an amazing plant-based chef. We cannot wait to learn more. Welcome back, Alexander.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for being here again with us. So we were talking about how variable and colorful your dishes are that you create. I'm curious, is there a lot of experimental play? How do you come up with your recipes? What do you do to create? So you've come up with, 3 cookbooks. So you must really have it dialed in on how to come up with these recipes.
I definitely draw my inspiration from traditional recipes, so traditional Middle Eastern, traditional Japanese recipes. I take their techniques and I try to look at the core principles of the technique and perhaps take it into more contemporary context. So I don't know, for example, in the Japanese cuisine, they use all kind of binders, or in the Middle Eastern cuisine, they use tahini as a source for kind of like a fatty sauce. So I try to use this technique and I try to interpret in different ways. I love to go to the organic market once a week. There are wonderful organic farmers markets in Amsterdam, sure, also in the different parts of America. And I just pick up, I just worked with a photographer on a new food photo shoot. And I told him, isn't it amazing to make vegan food? Because it's like you're a painter that buys different colors and then you can paint with these colors. You can play with it. So I find it so inspiring to go to the market, and it's like you choose, like you're like a child. You're choosing the red and you're choosing the green and the yellow and the white, and you're like, what am I going to do with it? I can just paint with it. It's like it's fun. It's like a game. And then I often tell to the people on the market, what should I buy? What's good at the moment? Or what do you need to get rid of? What do you have so much? What comes from the fields? So what's in season, basically? Actually, I feel like they should dictate to us what I should use, and not nowadays that we go. I mean, I love the supermarkets. Everything is available. But, we're a bit spoiled because everything is available year round. I think my inspiration is the Japanese cuisine, the Middle Eastern cuisine, and organic fresh produce of the season.
Yes, that's my next question. You really emphasize 100% vegan and organic, preferably locally grown, always whole foods. Why is that so important? How do you think that benefits people's health and also the environment?
Yeah. Well, just to, I don't know if I emphasize 100% vegan. I like to give all kinds of people space in general, not only when it comes to food. I like to welcome everyone. Many of my clients are not vegan. They just love good food or healthy food or tasty food. And I'm not, myself, I think the whole foods plant-based diet is a good base for any healthy diet. But I know people who eat some amounts of animal food. I know people who are more strictly vegan, and I think there is space for both of these diets in our world, in my opinion, at least. I think organic way of growing vegetables is, for me, the real way of growing vegetables, because vegetables or any produce should grow with the help of good quality earth, which gives minerals and nutrients to the vegetables, the sun, and water, and the love that the farmers give to the produce and the vegetables. And when you eat vegetables like these, they really energize you on a very deep level. They give you satisfaction, they taste better. Of course, the technique of growing and the knowledge of growing is good. Some organic farmers, they are just starting or experimenting, or the knowledge is low. So sometimes you think, but that's in every profession, right?
Yes.
But good organic farmers make amazing produce that just tastes better. I feel, my opinion is that very often vegetables that are grown in an artificial way, so with pesticides and chemicals and maybe genetically modified seeds, it's almost like a sponge with color and some of the taste, but it's like an imitation of the original thing. So it doesn't satisfy us on a deeper level. It doesn't give us what it should give us originally when it comes from nature. Yeah.
I love that you open it up and say it's not 100% vegan. I think that helps a lot of people. And if you look too at the blue zones, or if you look at the research that T. Colin Campbell did in China with the China study, it really is about the proportion. And so a lot of the blue zones, except for, there's some people in Loma Linda, California that are vegetarian, so they have some animal products in their diet. But when you look all around the blue zones, meat or animal products are used sparingly. And that usually came from economics, that they couldn't afford to have, some of these ingredients all the time. But it's what ended up making them live that long. So I think it's really important for people who are considering plant-based, but they're like, but that means I have to be 100% vegan. You don't. But when you see a lot of the health benefits when people have 95% to like 99% of their diet coming from whole foods and plants. So I think that's really important for people to hear, because yes, that does make them want to go run to the fake meats and things like that, because they feel like they have to have the same proportion. But you don't. You can still consume animal products. But if you want to reap the health benefits, you got to think about the proportion.
Yeah, I'm also, I read your book, and I'm a big fan. And what I liked, among many other things in your book, because it actually changed my personal way of eating in a very positive way as well, is that you encourage people not to be strict, but to think about, to see all foods as good, and to choose, to listen to their body, to see what's good for them. And I really like it. Yeah, that really also changed my way of looking at food. So I would also like to make what I'm doing inclusive for everyone, also for meat eaters. When people want to make a transition into a plant-based way of eating, or more a plant-based way of eating, I tell them, just do it gradually. Introduce great recipes that you love, that you crave for, that feels good for you, and you see how far you go. And I have many friends who are not vegan at all, but they love making my recipes and they love eating it, and it inspires them. So in the end of the day, if they look back at the last few months, they barely ate any animal foods, just because they love plant-based food so much. And that's the connection that I would like to make. So your choice becomes from a sensory, from a sensual, from a physical. You choose it because you love it, you're attracted to it, it makes you feel good, rather than,
Yes, you should or you shouldn't.
It's good for the world, so I should do it. It's yeah, mind and body should be connected in our choices, especially with food, because it's so physical.
Yes.
I was going to ask you what kind of challenges you were having in promoting a plant-based diet. And what I'm hearing is that one of the challenges is that people think it's all or nothing. And the way that you overcome that is by telling them to just start in small increments. And then if they want to grow and become completely vegan, they can or not. Is there anything else, other challenges that you're coming up upon as far as really sort of putting the word out there about the benefits of plant-based and helping people become plant-based? And how do you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. I think definitely in the beginning that it's boring and that it's not tasty and not exciting taste-wise. So that's really, I made it my life mission to show to people that it is. It's also really hard to kind of like, nowadays everything is about marketing yourself and putting yourself in a certain niche. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I stand for. And then and it's really hard to always say, yeah, it's healthy what I'm doing, but it's also very, very tasty and rich in a culinary level. And I think most people just don't believe, okay, if it's healthy, it's boring. And if it's tasty, it should be unhealthy. So I try to show to people that both are actually one. Things that are tasty for you, good for your body, it feels good, you feel good after. It's about feeling good. And I think for me, a big challenge was I read since a year or two that it becomes less popular, but all the industry of the meat replacements. I had many people coming to me in the last years and they said, oh, vegan? Oh, we don't like it because it's this fake replacements. We don't like to eat this thing. Oh, vegan, no, thank you. And then I thought, oh, I wish you would just see my food for once and see that it's all from natural ingredients. It's all from nature. So that was a big challenge, but I see that people are dropping it. But I think it was a very quick fix solution into turning people vegan. And I think it gave a bad name to vegan cuisine. So for the long term, I think that was a big challenge. Yeah, this period when everybody was experimenting with these meat replacements.
I think, especially in the United States, not in defense of meat replacements, but in the United States, I think it's a really hard thing for people to conceive of how to reformulate their plate. And so, we talked about this on Dr. Allen's podcast. Sometimes I think it can be a good jumping off point where they can see that they can still have a meal. It doesn't have to have that. But I think what they tend to find is that they just taste a little weird. And so that's probably the turnoff. So I like to tell people, yes, try it, see how you like it. And then if you do like it or you like how your body feels, maybe then go to making your own, black bean burger or mushroom meatballs or something like that, and then see if you still get that satisfaction. So I think that there's a value in them, that they're a little jumping off point so that people can feel more comfortable. And then I think the encouragement of, I love what you said about how do you feel in your body? Because I think when we can really get people to tune in to their body, they realize that they have more energy, they sleep better. You had an entire skin issue that resolved itself in a week. I had a friend who had a huge goiter and she went on a macrobiotic diet and it completely went away. When you realize you feel so good, then you want to feel that way more often. And I think encouraging that in people. So speaking of that, you travel. You go to these worldwide events. You teach cooking classes. You have performance dinners. We've been dying to get to performance dinners. Tell us about those. And how do they influence your cooking and your teaching? And what are some really memorable moments?
So, I'm educated as a dancer. And I think when I made the transition to being a chef, it was also very confronting. I'm like, wait, I'm a dancer, so what am I doing here? And how do I bring all my passion of dance into my cooking? So people were making jokes, oh, you should dance while you cook. And I thought, no, that's cringy. So then I thought, well, I can bring my creativity and I can bring my way of performing in front of people, because I'm teaching a lot, I'm standing a lot in front of people, I'm talking. And at a certain point, naturally it flowed, that because I still have a lot of dancers friends and people in the art world, and I'm very involved. It's still, I'm very passionate about it. I'm still taking dance classes and practice yoga. I love it. And I started to collaborate with one of the first things was with Martin Butler. He's an opera and theater director. He's an English guy based in Berlin. And we created a concept which was called the chromatic dinner, where we involved kind of like theater through all the senses, which involved eating and smelling and hearing. And so people went through kind of a theatrical catharsis by eating and smelling. It's a long story, I'll make it short. And I think it kind of made sense to me. And I remember that we learned in the dance history classes that theatrical, artistic dance, as we know it nowadays, has started with classical ballet in the courts of Louis XIV. And in between the dishes, as the rich people were sitting and eating, the dancers were coming and making an act. And this act was called an entrée, so an entry of the dancers. And that's where the word entrée of a dish also connects to.
Wow.
So the culinary arts and performing arts actually started together, you know, or were very bind with each other in history. So when this concept makes me more confident about bringing it together, because sometimes I'm thinking, why do you do this crazy thing of a meal and then strange thing and artistic things start to happen? I think the last one I did with a Japanese fermenter, it was about koji fermentation, which is a traditional way of fermenting things in Japan. And some people just came to a normal dinner and they thought, well, we're just coming for a dinner. And then strange things started to happen. They were a bit shocked. And I also kind of liked it. So yeah, it's fun. It also just happened to me that I started to do these things. And in the beginning, it didn't make sense, but I loved it. And now it starts to make more sense to me that I bring these two passions of my mind together. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we still have dinner theater here. You know, that is the same thing. You're eating and you're watching the arts. And I think that that's beautiful. I can only imagine what an experience for all of the senses that might be. You're tasting all of this amazing food. You're smelling the aromas. You're watching this incredible performance. Do you dance as well?
That was my question. Are you coming out of the kitchen?
Yes.
I always said, like, no way. There's like one thing I'm not gonna dance in my own dinners.
Yes. Come on.
And then I did in the last one because
Yay.
the concept asked for it, and I thought that was a perfect moment artistically to do it. And now I'm much more open for it. I'm like, why not? You know. I mean, I know great dancers and choreographers who are dancing in their 60s, even in their 70s. Some of them are also eating a healthy plant-based diet, which keeps them strong and healthy. And I just turned 40, and I'm thinking, no, I'm proud of the way I eat and the way and that I'm still flexible and I can still dance. Knock the wood without crazy. So I want to celebrate it also. I mean, that's the gifts and the fruits that you can pick up when you maintain a healthy lifestyle, that you can actually enjoy your body and enjoy your life for a longer time.
So you just turned 40. So what do you think in 20 years when you are celebrating your 60th birthday, what do you think you will have accomplished in the next 20 years? Do you have any future goals, any projects coming up? You have a lot already going on. Are you planning on writing another cookbook? Are you gonna, I don't know, what are you gonna do to at your 60th birthday? What are we gonna be talking about?
First of all, I hope the world will be a better place with less wars and less people killed. And yeah, I first hope this for the world, because as you know, I coming from countries with difficult stories, and I think there's a lot of evil going on in the world, and I hope this will be less the case. I will be a happier person, definitely. I hope to, I don't know, I see myself as an old person teaching young generation students under a tree in the nature how to be chefs, wisdom about life, I don't know, the wisdom of life, and to celebrate good food and life. I guess I see this in the future. And on a more superficial level, I hope my book gets out there and sells a lot of copies, and many people make my recipes and enjoy making them.
Well, I, for one, am going to get the book. And you've also inspired me to change the way I go to the farmer's market. I'm going to look for the different colors, and because I'm very overwhelmed by the farmer's market. So you've already changed that about one person. So there you go.
Overwhelmed because it's too much choice, or
too many choices, and I don't know how to cook plants very well and make them tasty. So that's why I need your cookbook. So yeah.
Well, the cookbook is available online on all the platforms, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and anywhere you can find books, you can order it online. It's called
Yes. That's our next question. How do they find out about you? What's your website? Give your Instagram. Let's get people to you so we can sell this thing for you.
Thank you. So my name is Alexander Gershberg. That's my Instagram, and that's also my website, alexandergershberg.com. And my cookbook, Plant-Based by Alexander Gershberg. If you just look it up on the search engine or on any bookstore online, like Amazon or Barnes and Noble, or you can find it. And if you want to be on my team, support your local bookstore and order it there, because most of them, they can order it for you and you can buy it from them. Yeah.
Wonderful. That is so great. I would love to pick your brain for hours and hours and hours. We are running low on time, but just give us one event that you have coming up, say in the next, or two events in the next 3 months that we can look out for.
I'm working on a new culinary design concept with other two artists, and it will be about how to taste. It's a workshop of how to taste, but it will also be a performance. It will be on a roof terrace in Amsterdam, and we hope to take this concept internationally. We want to invite people, and through dramaturgy and theatrical experience, we want to broaden their perspective on taste, to taste in a more mindful way, and to broader than their experience of taste, beyond tasty, not tasty. I like it, I don't like it. Actually, one person that really inspires me is one of my assistants, Antea Bull. She's also on Instagram, anosmic foodie. She cannot smell, she's anosmic, but she can taste the 5 flavors. So she really opened my mind about how you can broaden the experience of taste beyond taste itself, by texture, by atmosphere, by stories. Yeah, so I really like this subject. It's exciting. We just start to work on it, and so I hope it will be good.
And we hope you bring it to Los Angeles. Can you
I
please,
hope
will
so
you
too.
come visit us?
Sounds amazing.
And will you bring this
Yes,
experience our
definitely.
way?
Absolutely.
Maybe we can try to make that happen.
Please do. I've been there with a chromatic dinner and it was fun. And so I would love to come back.
Yeah, I see it being very popular in Los Angeles. We love our cuisine here. That's actually one of the main reasons I moved here from Colorado. I knew that I could get every single different type of flavor and culture in this city, and so we need something like that. So I'm putting it out in the universe. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
You're
the
coming
food
here.
was amazing in California and in LA, I remember. And yeah, I think like one of the best places in the US to eat, it's California, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, they say it's even better than New York because of the rent prices, that you can actually experiment more. And because we have more fresh produce here, you can experiment more, and it's a little bit cheaper than New York. So, sorry, New York, but I mean,
I
we got
also
it going
thought
on.
it was better than New York.
Yes, thank you very much. It's true.
Yeah.
Well, we are out of time for this podcast, so I'm going to
It was a lot
allow
of
my.
fun.
Oh, thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming, Alexander. And thank you for your kind words about my book. I really appreciate that. I love to hear that it helped open up, the way that you looked at and thought about food. That's a huge compliment coming from somebody who deals with food. So thank you so much.
Where can people get your book?
My book is on Amazon right now. I'm sure by the time this podcast comes out, it will already be published. It publishes on September 9th, but you can pre-order it on Amazon. It's called Deprogram Diet Culture: Rethink Your Relationship with Food, Heal Your Mind, and Live a Diet-Free Life.
And I'm very lucky to have a copy.
Yes. Thank you so much for your support and for your endorsement.
I got a copy too. I got one of those early copies. We're both lucky. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Thank you. It
get
was
some
really
sleep.
nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. And thank you to our listeners for joining us again. And we hope you join us again on A New Body Insight for our next episode next week. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for tuning into the A New Body Insight podcast. Please remember, the content shared on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. You can find us anywhere podcasts are streaming, on YouTube at my.anew.insight and at anew-insight.com under the A New Body Insight podcast tab. Follow us on our socials at my.anew.insight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more updates. Tune in next time and evolve